Hi there, welcome back. So this is what we'll be building today. So it's more of a coin flip kind of application. It's just the landing page basically. And the way it works is we're using some very cool libraries to be able to achieve a very clean design. So I'm just going to refresh this for you real quick, right? So you can see it's actually well animated. So if you scroll down, you can see all these cards coming in as expected, right? We have this other section. We have the 24/7 section. So we have this section with this circular stuff by the left hand side. And also we have the receive transmissions part, and then we have the footer. So now the cool thing about it is this is actually very much mobile responsive. If I minimize this a bit, you're going to see we have the navigation, and then yeah, you can see how cool this is. You can close it out, you can scroll down a bit, you can see our cards coming in as expected with all the animation coming in too very clearly. So this is what we want to build today, and yeah, so let's get right then. Okay, yes. So yes, I think you should have this link, and yeah, I think from now we basically just have to two branches. The first is the main, and the other one is the startup branch, right? I think for you specifically, you might want to switch into this one. So yeah, you want to click on code and just copy this. And what you do normally, I've already done this, but what you do is to open up a folder of choice. You click on that, YouTube. Yeah, I think we have it here already. Yeah, so in case you don't have it, the command you could use could be something similar to just gonna display that real quick. So you can actually use the git clone command and paste in your link. So this should be able to clone the repository and should have something similar to this. So after that, you want to basically cd into this part, right? So let me show you that. So you want to cd into this. So I'm just going to show that for for the new guys. Let's cd into crypto. Okay, right, crypto. Maybe we can just use a string here because there are spaces up here and there. So let's try that. Good. So now we are in. I can see we're in the main branch. So in your own case, you want to basically just change into the startup branch. You can achieve that by using the git checkout starter. Right. So this should actually put you in the startup branch. Right. Yes. So now that we have it, we are on the startup branch. The next thing we do is to basically just start developing, right? But this is me. I'm actually working on the main branch. I would want to remain on the main branch, like so. So the next thing you do on your end, you want to do something like npm install. This will install all the packages for you. I've already done this, and that is why you can actually see the node module folder right here. So yeah, so the next thing we do, now that we're already here, we just want to bootstrap our developmental server. And the way we do that, we just do npm run dev. Yeah, so this is going to take a couple of seconds, I think, or minute in some rare cases. And then, yeah, it's going to basically just start up the server for us, right? So yeah, we'll just wait for it to give us our link, and then we can hit that link, and then it will start compiling. So we have the link now. Immediately we hit the link like this, it will start compiling almost immediately. So I think it will come up right at the bottom here. So when the compilation starts, it's just going to take like a few more seconds for the page to actually load, right? Yeah, I think this is actually the flow we use. So compilation has not really started. We just wait a bit for it to start. Good. You can see it's compiling now. And it's going to take some few seconds. Good. So now we have the initial next 14 boilerplate. All right. So yeah. So at this point, what we're going to do is to just basically, start the first flow. This is what we are building, by the way. And one thing we want to do is to have our color scheme set up, right? And then we can worry about the assets, right? So this is actually the kind of route we take all the time. and it's very much understandable. We take the same. Okay, so now what we're going to do now, we're going to come here, right? We need to grab all the colors. First of all, open the code, go to tailwind.config, want to increase the font a bit. So reduce this, good. Okay, so now we have extend. Under the extend block, you want to add colors there, right? And put it. So now you notice that we used a couple of gradient within this application. And the reason, anything that has to do with gradients, I normally just like to put them within the actual CSS, not to use them. I don't like using Tailwind for things like that. It kind of like gives you more, more flexibility. Okay, so let's grab the relevant colors. So I'm just going to right click on this. Let's see. Oh, this gradient, that's good. Okay, so let's grab our black color, the background color. Very good. So this is actually our background color. So I'm going to come here and do BG. Yeah, so this will be our background. So you can just do text BG. It should give you a BG. All right, so let's do custom dark. So it's much more explanatory. So do custom dark, and that is good for us for the most part. Right, and once we have the custom dark, we can worry about this gradient, right? So with gradient, one thing I normally do is to use an extension referred to as super gradient, right? Just go to right click on whatever shape you're interested in, click on the plugins. You should be able to see the super gradient extension. So yeah, once you trigger it, it's going to basically have this gradient, good. And one thing I like about it is you can click on this code section right here. You can copy the CSS. So you can say we just copied the styling. So what I normally do is to go to, source, go to app, go to globals of CSS. I just add it here. So now we're going to call this, you can put this in normal CSS or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. So what we're going to call this, you can call this primary gradient. Okay, so that's a class for it. So pasting everything there. Yeah, so this would be our primary gradient. So I think we don't really have some of the text, in gradient form. It's just like the buttons and stuff like that, which is okay. All right, so let's look for a different color. This will actually just be exported, not a problem. So let's say this. Okay, so this will be our official primary color. So I'm gonna go on that. Go to tailwind.config. It's going to do primary. Good. So now we have our primary color. Good. And okay, so we have some text color here. So I'm curious. Let's see if this text has the same color as this text. That would be so cool. So let's click on that, and there's the color. It's starting with 89. Oh, boom. So this will be our subtitle. So just gonna come in here, and what we'll do now is to say subtitle. And I'm just gonna copy it again. Lost track of it on my clipboard. Paste it there. So this will be our subtitle. So anytime we do text subtitle, we should be able to use that color. Okay, so I think that is it for the coloring for the most part. The rest are just like white. What about this one? Okay, it is very difficult to click on. Okay, let's do that. Okay, that's weird. So this is conflict. Maybe I'll just search. Click on here, search for conflict. Coin flip, yeah. Okay, yeah, coin flip. I think this is it. Yeah, good. Okay, this is it, which is just a text. Okay, let's exit this out. Yeah, let's do that now. Okay, so we now have it selected. Good for us. So this is it here. So now the thing is we want to know the color of this text, right? So let's go to, okay, so let's go to all of this. Um, okay, I think this is block 2. All right, nice, nice, nice. Oh, that's a different block actually. Oh, this is block 1 and logo separated with whatever. And yeah, so this is what I clicked on, but it's not white. It's very misleading. It's not really a white color to be precise. I think it's a combination of different things. Okay, let's undo that. Okay, so what I would do, maybe for it to have much more freedom, right? Let's do it again. This should be block 2. Okay, maybe I'll just take this off. I will undo it in a bit, but let's do that for now. Okay, so yeah, I just selected it. Weird enough, it's still white. That is honestly so annoying. Okay, so we assume it's white. So I think the background it's on might actually be misleading. Yes, I think that. Okay, so we have a shape here that we may like to export. Right, so I'm just going to export this shape later on, not a problem now. And another thing we do is we grab this other gradient. So let's see if we can select this. So if we cannot, let's move this over and try it again. Good, good, good. We have it. So now we have it selected. We just have to update what we have here. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's select it. This obviously looks more like what we have, So let's say this looks more like the same text as the button actually, which is fine. All right, yeah, I think we'll grab all of those. Yeah, so let's export things that are needed. Okay. So yeah, we're just gonna first of all undo real quick. Okay, so let's grab the logo. So export. Okay, so export this. So just like to put this in SVG, please. It's better. Okay, so one thing we're going to do is to just rename this. It's here. Logo.png. Good, good, good. So now we have like a very large asset. Just gonna close this real quick. So yeah, so we have a large asset with a combination of lots of things, right? So yes, this is everything. We obviously need to figure out how we can position the text right within it, right? Because I think that would be really important. So yeah, I think we have this, and we can just export it, right? And yeah, so let's do that. Let's export. Export. Oops. This is good. Okay, there we go. Just call it 0. Very good. And then we have a couple of things. I think this one was not included. All right. Yes. So yeah. So we'll just come to that later, probably when we're building out. Right. But for now, let's grab other layers. So this is the first one. So let's grab this. So I'm just gonna group it, and now that I selected, I can export. So yeah, so this would be just F1, whatever that is. So let's say F1 PNG. Okay, we already have some F1s. I think I need to like clear out everything we have in these downloads so this place is a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna clear that out real quick. Okay, so that should be fine now. Alright, so we have the F1. Want to check out the F2 now. So I'm gonna rename this to F2. Good, good, good. Let's go back to the third one. Spot that. So now this will be F3. Alright, and yeah, we already have these shapes. I think we have two here. So let's export this. Well, these two are basically together, but I will have to export them like separately. So this will be star one, the other one will be star two. So export that. So this will be star two. And okay, so now we have some shapes here, right? And shapes like this sometimes are very weird because you have to move things around before you could actually point yourself towards them. So before I even focus on the shape, I just want to grab this one first, this, and then the background, I think. Let's group them together. So export that. So there we go. There we go there. And we can just export this. This is section. I can just call it big section. It's big left section. All right, so big left section, and which is okay, which is fine, right? So we have some shapes here as well. So let's grab this one here. This is like, oh, that's a mighty shape right there. All right, so yeah, so we just export this one as well. Export. So we're gonna call this looper, as the name indicates. So let's undo. Okay, very good. And yeah, so this is the looper. I think this is very similar to the looper too. Let's take this one here. Very good. This one, let's take it out. So actually they are both loopers. So the same setup if you notice. But the little difference is the fact that this basically has well, it looks pretty much the same to me, but just the siding is different. The sides are different. So here the side looks a little bit you know n rotated n compared to this here. So yeah, so I think that's actually the only difference. So we can use one of the loopers to achieve for both basically. All right, so now let's grab this suitcase. So I need to grab this one alongside its SVG counterpart. So this has to be in SVG as well as the shape there. Let's group all of them together. Okay, so now that we have everything grouped, we just need a way to pass it over. All right, so let's see what we have. Click on export. This is what we are previewing so far, well, which is not really bad, right? And yeah, so this basically carries all the way there. So let's export it as SVG actually. So export. Oh, that was like 2 MB. That's huge. All right, so this is going to be our big right box suitcase suit. Okay, so yeah, so we still have this kind of shape. So let's select it. Not that one, to be honest. So maybe I will just take it out and export. So I stay to the one side. Just have to export the circles. Then click on export. So you can have them all selected. So let's grab the SVG, export circles. See, oh, this is what we have. Good, good, good. All right, so let's go back. So circles is actually good. I have to put the word big for some weird reasons. I don't know, but it's fine. So yeah, so let's do this one. As this lets you maybe I'll just take that off. Let's select this one. Okay. Okay, so I just needed this one actually. Okay, that's weird. That's some weird setup right there, to be honest. So yeah, if we have the gradient, maybe we can simulate it. Okay. Spot. Yeah, this is good. This is what I wanted. So we can tag this the footer gradient. Right, and what else? Well, to be honest, that's all we'll be needing. So I'm just going to undo all the changes I've made so that we are still on the same track. Oops. See. All right. There we go. And yeah. So with this, we basically have all of our assets. So the next thing we'll do is to bring them into the actual code. Right. So I'm just going to open up the public and create a folder. So this folder is going to be called images. And I'm going to, select all the relevant assets and move it within the images folder. Right. Just select this, select the looper, the big right suitcase, the big circles, and the footer gradient. So now that I have all of them selected, I'm just going to drag it into, the images folder. Right, very good. So now that we already have them there, probably I just want to remove them from here. Good, good, good. And close this out. Good. So now we basically have all of our assets. We have all of our colors. So the next step would be actually building out the core parts of the sections, right? Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so yeah, before that, we want to make sure that we have all the relevant sections, right? So I go into app, I go into page, and so the thing we'll do here is to define what is necessary right here. Right, I'm just going to remove the images input and create all the relevant sections we'll be needing. right? And yeah, so now we already have our components. We just have create a new folder, and this will be called sections. And we can, I think we have a couple of cards, so we are going to include the cards folder to that as well, right? Yeah, so the structure of the app is kind of very straightforward, right? We have the navigation, and then we have something else, which is the hero. So this is going to be the hero section. .csx. I'm just going to rename this title real quick. And all right, so let's create the basic boilerplate. Good. So this is our hero section. The other part has to do with what I just call this what we offer or feature section. We'll create a new file. Okay, feature section.csx. And there we go. So the third one is, should we call this get started? Not really. Crypto investments. Okay, so let's call this investment. All right, so we have the investment section. Right, so yeah, after that, well, I think we can group what we have here and what we have here together. Yes, it can be in one component because it will be much more better, flexible to work with. Okay, so this one will be take your first step. So we're gonna call this take step component. Okay, this is section CSS. All right, so that's the take step section, and then we have the receive transmission part. Okay, so let's create that. This will be receive transmission CSS. All right, so yeah, that's the receive transmission component. And finally, we have the footer component. So we're just going to add that real quick. Come in here, create a new file. Yeah, so this is our footer. So we have the basic boilerplate. Good, good, good. So now that we have all the different components all lined out, we have to basically start, bringing them into the main page. So first off, we have the navbar. So if you've cloned from the starter branch, you should be able to have the navbar component by default. And then we have the hero. And then we have the feature. All right, we have the feature. We have the investment. Okay, so we have the text step. All right, we have the receive transmission, and then we'll be having the footer. Right, yeah, so these are actually the relevant components we'll be needing in building this actual landing page. Yes, so yeah, so then after this, we're just going to start off by customizing the navbar to meet the requirement. All right, and welcome back. So now let's have the navbar in motion. So let's see what we have for now. So this is what we have, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so yeah, so what I want to build this one into is something that looks like this, right? So now, first off, I think I would just be, setting up the background, which is very important. So I'm just going to do here bg custom dark. That will be our background. And also in the navbar, we have to set this one as our background as well. So I'm going to open up the navbar. You can see we have a couple of bg white. We want to modify those to become bg custom dark, right? Which is okay, which is fine. But then the text, we have to make sure that the text are actually white, right? Yes, so all the text, like all the links and so on, are white. And yeah, so let's make sure that it's actually white here. I think it's white. It's white, so it's fine. Okay, so wherever we see text gray or text dark, is actually text white. Okay, this text black here, text white. Very good. So we basically have a couple of, our text white here and there, and also the buttons is something we can play with. Okay, so now let's bring in our logo and the text. So SVG and images, right, and slash. Very good. And then the various links that we have, I think is just by, these are the relevant links. I'm going to copy those. So I'm going to paste it right in here. I'm going to add more of these links here, so it's not a problem. Copy it and paste it in here. So yeah, I think what I normally just do, I could just do something like this, since it's just like basic links. Yeah, so let's grab the names of each of the link. The first one is buy / sell. The one is grow. The other one is market. The other one is business. The other one is support. Right, yeah, so we basically have, those are the relevant links, I think. Right, so there we can map through these and just do the needful. So yeah, we can do something like links, map, link, the index. So we want to make sure that we bring in all of this into it. And the way we do that is to specify our key right here, right, as the index. So yeah, so this will actually be the actual link. Yeah, so by default, you should be able to have all of those links, which is good. And at the end of it, we have 2 buttons instead of 1. And before we actually do that, let's see how this will be on mobile, right? So let's make sure we fix it. I'm going to copy everything there and paste it, I think, here. So that should fix a couple of things for us. Okay, so now let's go over to the buttons. So now the first one is sign in, and the other one, let's come here and do, we already have the main button component as far as you pulled from the starter branch. So now this is the main button, and the text there is actually sign in, and we have another button. And this button are going to have their own classes, which is okay. This is going to have sign up. So gradient, so we're going to just do primary gradient on this one. This is looking good already. So yeah, we have to make it like smaller, and the width here is like 96 pixel, right? So yeah, so you can do, sorry about that, oops, the width 96 pixel. Good boy. Okay, so that's the width. The height on the other end is just 40. So let's try out the height. Okay, yeah, something like that, yeah. Something like that. Very good. Okay, so the text then. Okay, so I think the font is something that we didn't talk about. Oh, it's actually Inter, so it's straightforward. So let's make sure that our font is set up as Inter. Go to layout, it's already Inter, good for us. And we'll just want to maybe update the title here. So crypto currency platform. Right. And just swaps. Conversion on a cheaper rate. Okay, so yeah, that could do it for our metadata. Let's go back to our navbar. Right, so yeah, we have all of those, and the text here seems a little bit bold or semi bold, so we could do font semi bold. All right, good, good, good. And it's all white, good for us. Good. So then, if you notice the buttons, we have some sorts of border, right? So we have to create those. So let's say the stroke. Should be able to have to, yes, it is a stroke here. And the size is just 1 pixel. So then what I do is to go to here, declare a border, which is like 1 pixel by default. And the border, okay, border BG, not sure about the actual syntax, but I can do border this to grab the color. But in our own case, we need the border to be in gradient format, which will be very interesting to achieve. So yeah, so let's see first of all what the border basically gives us. Okay, so it's white at the moment, right? And okay, so can we do border? No, we can't do this because it's not a Tailwind class, right? So yeah, I need a way to be able to pass this down. So yeah, so this gradient, this permanent gradient, has a border specific thing. Right. Yeah. So let me figure it out and I'll get back to it. Okay. So I assume now we basically have the sign up. We want to do something else which has to do with the sign in. So let's modify this. It's going to be very like, similar as sign up. But what we'll do though is to change some of the classes. Right. So I'm just going to paste that in there. Copy everything right there and paste it right in there. Right, I'll copy that and paste it. Okay, so now it's going to look similar, but then what we're going to do with it, it's kind of very straightforward. We want to make sure that the border is actually white and the background is transparent. So we can actually just do, select this, can do BG transparent, right? And so we have border white as a color and some roundings, right? Yeah, all right. So maybe the border, we might want to increase that a bit, right? Yeah, we can make the border to 2 pixel. Yeah, something like that. Something like that looks good. Good, really. Okay. So the spacing between the sign up and the sign in. Yeah. So on over, we don't want to be saying this here. And also, we don't even need the sign in link. So we're going to take that off real quick. And yeah, all right. So we have that. And we'll just try to reduce the spacing. I'll just do something like 20. All right. So that's the spacing between here and here. That's actually 12 pixel. That's very small, to be honest. Let's do 12 pixel. It's not up to a rem. Okay, so let's check it on mobile. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the Lucid, the hamburger from Lucid, to be able to close this. We don't need that. Okay, so we don't need this. So yeah, so this particular icon here, we can actually use the Lucid menu icon from Lucid React to basically do it, right? So yeah, we can pass that in, and also with a class, to be honest. So we grab its class and put it right in there, and we'll remove the image component, and this should actually give us some sort of hamburger, which should be nice. Yeah, so it's actually black. We can see it. We basically have to change the color to white. Okay, so that should change the color. There we go. And let's open it up. We open it. We have this kind of color. When you over, it should be black, right? Yeah. So on over, we should have like black color. On over test custom dark, something like that. Yeah, something like that should just work. Okay, so yeah, other thing we do not need is the link, so we can as well just take this one off. But at the same time, we need to bring this guy in, so we're just going to do just that. And that should, yeah, now we have the sign up and then the sign in. All right, so one other thing I do notice is the fact that this can actually just be the item center. You can just do flex column. Okay, so yeah, this should actually have a stack. We have the sign in, we have the sign up right there. Then we can close it out. We can come like that. Very good, very good, very good. So now what I want to do is that by default, every text should just be white, right? So I can actually change this behavior by going in here and just doing everything. Okay, color white, right? Yeah, so that should be able to, target every critical thing we have and change the color to white. So if you want to maybe like override it, and then yeah, that should be able to help you. And also we can just do background color, maybe custom dark. Let's do ash. So that's 0. Yeah, that should be able to give our whatever that kind of color, right? Just gonna refresh this. Good, 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 good. Okay, so that's not really like bad, right? But then we need passing something like this to all. It's very dangerous, so I might want to just stay away from doing that actually. Okay, so yeah, so now we have a coin flip. We make the navigation very responsive, right? So the next part of this lesson would be about working on the actual hero page, right? Okay, so let's do it. So we're going to basically close up what we have. We're going to close up the entire thing, and want to open up the error section. So this is actually a section, so I just want to rename this to section. Okay, maybe remove the div there. All right. So, and the thing now is we need this background to be there, right? I think I should have exported that in a SVG so that we can work alongside the content. I think. Yes, I was thinking something, something similar. Right. Let's try that out. So remove all of those because we have to just position those, I think, at the middle somewhere. Yeah, that's already a problem. Maybe I can leave that out. So this is everything I think we'll be needing. And let's click on export. So this is everything, to be honest. And the way we're going to do it is we could use it as an image, but then I just prefer it as an SVG. And we're going to play around with some of the parts during the animation phase of this lesson. Right, so I'm going to call this hero SVG. Okay, so yeah, so let's get it inside the code. Public images, we have the hero SVG right there. And lots of code, man. Here we go with the hero SVG. Lots and lots of code. There we go. Oh, the crazy part is I think some of them is actually like an actual image. Like this is an image. There's nothing much we can do about it. Yeah, we basically just have an SVG embedded image. So it has image within it. So this is like the base 64 of the actual image, I think. Okay, let's scroll. Alright, let's keep scrolling. Okay, so yeah, I said it. This is the image. You can't really do much, much about, the issues here, but we can play around with the rest of the clip path. Alright, so good. So yeah, so let's have this SVG as the first. It's going to be Actually, we're going to use it as a background, to be honest. And the way we're going to go about that, we can go to our tailwind.config.js. So in here, I'm just going to do background. Just going to do background image. Yeah, so let's do a background image. And let's go ahead and make that an object. So let's do stars. So what we want to do is URL. So yeah, so we have slash images slash hero svg, not svg, right? So yeah, so this will be our background image. So what I can do in the hero section, I can just come in here and do class name bg hero. Oh, it's not coming up. That's not a good sign. Yeah, bg stars, not hero image. Bg stars. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we have it. The first dot, we're not seeing it. Just weird. Bg star should be something. But let's do height full or height screen, as the case may be. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we don't want to we don't want to repeat this. Yes, a background shouldn't be having repeat. So we can do no repeat, bg no repeat, and that should kill the other one. Yes, so we have to make it like full width. With full. Okay, yeah, something like that. Yeah, this is actually an SVG, not bad, but yeah, we need to like figure out a very smart way to keep it very consistent, right? Yes. So first off, it basically has to extend, which it's not extending because it's actually like an image, right? And so now that is a problem. Yeah. So maybe we can try out a couple of things. Let's try the SVG version. So we have images hero.png. Let's try the PNG version. Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, I put the same here. Okay, so what I would do is to want to stretch it, right? So let's inspect. Let's inspect what we have here. Okay. So yeah, this is the background image. Okay. And the okay, then we can modify some of the colors here, which is not really a problem here, but yeah, so it's actually taking the full width, but the image itself doesn't stretch, which is a problem, right? I want the image to stretch. So let's look for a very smart way to stretch the image across the screen. So let's do flex. So flex, stretch. I don't know, man, but this only applies to items. Stretch, is that a thing? Okay, that doesn't really work. Okay. Okay, so there are a couple of ways we can do this. We can actually grab each of them and position them, right? If we're not able to achieve this, well, I think there should be a very smart way to, to extend this to the end of the screen. Yeah, so I did some checking. I came across the Tailwind docs. So yeah, you can basically use the BG cover, but it still doesn't like give me what I want, right? But then this is what we have currently, not that one. Let me update it. So I'll just do BG cover. I should be able to like extend it, right? But the thing is, I want this to stretch. Oh, good, good, good. I think we basically have it. This gets to the end, but then I want it to stretch over the screen. So that's very tricky, to be honest. But I think what we can do. Okay, so let's string this, string that. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's see where we have this now for now. And yeah, so we can play around with some of these things, which is fine. And at the same time, we need a way to be able to say this guy should be extending out. Now that is even like trickier than expected. So if there's going to be like a major problem, so what I would do is to have the initial one exported, right, and remove this part of it. Yes, I think we can do that. Yes, so let's remove this part. Okay. So if we do this though, the thing is I need chances that it's spread across, right? Which is very feasible. So I think I'll just undo all of this for now. This is what we have. Good, good, good. So take this out. All right. Good boy. Then take this one out. So if it's going out, it goes around with. Oh, I see. All right, good. This alone is sufficient, right? So we can now worry about this one alongside this one, right? So let's see something like this. Not sure if that's the exact positioning of it. Yeah, but the thing is, I wanted to leave this one in the existing position without having to drag it all across. So yeah, so we have this, right? We have this one. We have those two, which we do not need, but we do need this. You can drag all of this around here. Very good, very good. Right. So then we still have access to all of the coins that we have. So I'm just going to select this one more time, and let's make sure that it's grouped. Grouped. Oh, okay. So we don't need all this text within it. Okay. So we just need this one, maybe, or maybe this one. Not really like important, but we do need all of this. So I'm just going to group it. Gonna group that and go to export. Go to this. So let's rename this to Hero SVG. And okay, this is actually now PNG. No problem. Let's put it there. No, not a priority right now. Be rename this. So Hero underscore 2. Hero underscore 2. .png. Okay, good. You can see that now we have a proper structure, which is fine. Yeah. So now we just need a way to position our text in the middle and have our buttons right there. All right, so let's create the text. And also we can as well just make sure that the background here is just transparent, the navigation. So let's fix that. So BG transparent. Okay. Alright, BG transparent doesn't do much. Should do something. Okay. Let's do BG red. Can deceive me. Let's see if it changes. Yeah. That's BG red. Okay. Alright. So BG transparent doesn't work. Why is that? Oh, inherit. Okay, that's a good sign. Let's debug it further. This is background color inherit. Okay. The thing is, not that we actually have, you know, a color right there, but maybe there could be color somewhere else. Find out. Okay, so let's go back and what I can do. See background. Okay, or let's play around with the opacity, yeah. Oh, okay. Alright, well, if the background is like, transparent, um, it's still lying on top of this. Yeah, so it might not really like come up the way we expect it because I think this section just starts from here. Right. Yes, that's the deal breaker. So let's refresh that. Okay, so BG doesn't work. But I think B transparent should work. Yeah, this should work, but in a very different sense. All right, so we'll come back to this maybe later. So let's grab the text. So the text we're interested in is this one. I'm gonna copy that, paste it right there. So that would be the main text. So we have another one which is more description. Okay, so let's do proper spacing there. Okay, we copy some weird spacing. Yeah, that should be good. So yeah, so what we do from board, check the size out, 85. Okay, so let's do text. 85 pixel. And this one should just be test subtitle. Very good. And the thing is, we want to make sure that this text is always positioned in a nice way. And the way that will work will depend. Let's grab the button real quick. So yeah, so the button is starting with get started. And we're going to use something like a similar style we have in the navbar section. Go to hero, just gonna paste that in there. Okay, so let's do this. $156, and the height is like, so the height is 56, right? And yeah, something like that. Yeah. So let's check the spacing. 32. Yeah, we can use it 32 top and bottom. All right. Yeah. So that gives us a proper spacing. And what's left now actually is for us to flexify the hell out of this. Justify center. Flex column. Item center. Okay. Good, good, good. Okay. So let's break this down a bit. So now I want to make sure that the text is a little bit smaller on little screens. So we could do text theorem. Okay. And also the orientation of the text needs to be centralized. Right. Something like that. Great, great, great. So we can have the same behavior in the subtitle. Very good. So yeah, this is how it would be on a smaller screen. I don't know if I agree with this background for the image, but I think we could just use black. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think black is just fine. So let's fix that as part of the nav bar. So BG primary is going to be BG custom dark. Good. So it looks way better. So the over effect we might change. Right. So the over has to be not this one anymore, but maybe just white. Right. We don't need any over effect or whatever. So the over for the signing, we have to take it off. Right. So the over should just be as is. Alright. So yeah. So what we'll do here is to do over BG. Okay, use the same BG. If it's BG transparent that we're using here, we do the same thing here. Yeah, that should fix it. Good, good, good. Now we have that. Let's see. Yeah, we have to fix it in the desktop one as well. So I'm just going to scroll to the top and have this one. Okay, right here and paste it there. So similar thing occurs, right? So that's over. Good. That gives us a very pretty way to tackle it. Right. So this is how it will be on mobile, which is fine. And this is what we'll have on the desktop. So now don't forget about this shape. So we have to break it in. So yeah, I think we already have it here. So what I'm going to do is to make sure that it's not that big. Right, so let's have that. Let's group these two together. And yeah, so we can export it. We have to be careful about this shape actually. Right, so yeah, so this would be the arrow shape. Right, so the arrow shape now, okay, let me just give it a different name. Arrow shape 2. All right, and this arrow shape 2, we can put it within the images folder. All right, which is okay. And we want to make sure that the behavior it's very much more different. So this is going to be relative, and we're going to have like a div. So this div will be absolutely positioned. So we have the image, we should have our source now. So yeah, this should just be, we can call this the hero ball shape, right? So yeah, we can give it a necessary class absolute right 0 button 0. I doubt we're going to change those, but let's see what we have so far. Okay, so let's link it properly. Slash images slash hero shape 2. Yeah, so we have the hero shape 2, right? And boom, there we go. Okay, so now we have the hero shape. We just need to position it, like this, right? So yeah, so we have it this way, and we should be able to, put it towards the end of the actual flow. So let's see if we can push it further. So right is 0, bottom is 0, and it should be a full width here. It is a full width. Okay, it has some side. Oh, I see. Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll just have to add some sort of negative right here so we can push it. So yeah, so let's do foreign. Okay, so let's do 5. Okay, 5 seems to be too small. Let's do 15. All right, good. All right, and also that is not all. Let's see how 25 looks like. Good. We just need it to be half of the cut, not really going outside of the viewport. So we have 23. Okay, still too much. Let's do 22. All right, and I feel it's still too much. Maybe 21. Good. So that's just about perfect. And also we have this overflow. This is the last thing we want. So to be able to prevent this kind of behavior, we're going to set overflow to false. Overflow hidden actually. Good. So that should go away. So now this is the the kind of setup we have. And also, let's not get it wrong. We want to place this test on top of the actual shape, right? Okay, yes. So now we have the setup, which is okay, not bad. And yeah, so let's make sure that this text overlays this background, right? So like we have it on the design. Yeah. So yeah, the way we can do this. Yeah, let me just refresh this. Yeah. So we have to reduce the z index of say this guy, right? Yeah. So we already have this and this. All right. So yeah. So let's do. So the two. Right. So yeah, this can actually just be Z10. Okay, maybe Z1 actually. And what we have here can actually be Z1. Z2. Right. So yeah. So we have Z1, which we have like a lower Z index. And then we have yeah, so let's do this one. Maybe it's the 4 or whatever that is. Yeah, so it's the 4. Let's take this one back a bit. Okay, so let's over this. It's still loading. That's weird. Okay, that doesn't really work. Oh, okay. I thought we have Z. Oh, Z1 is not a 10. Okay, we have Z10. That's for this one. So let's do Z10 here. And maybe minus Z10 in here. Yeah, something like that just works. So it's It's not like necessary for you to use Z10 or whatever, but yeah. So yeah, this is actually Z10. This just we could use Z1 if Z1 is valid. So any of the Z index you have in Tailwind that's valid, you can easily just use this. All right. Yeah. So we have this, and yeah. So I think it breaks in crypto part, so we can as well just break our own as well. So just going to do break. Okay. So now you notice one thing: the leading is so annoying. So we're going to do leading tight. So that's leading tight. Yes, good. That gives us a very good leading. Right. So this is it. And see the structure is looking nice and clean. Even on mobile, we're able to see some certain things. So let's do this and check it on mobile so far. Yeah, this is what we have on mobile. Nice. Looking so good. Okay, we're going to close this out. So we have this setup. And now the thing will be about, building out, checking if everything is as expected, which it is, right? And then, yeah. I think we are good for the most part. We have the coins, we have the text. But then I think the space between here and here seems to be too much. So let's see if there's a way we can reduce the PY. So the PY can just be 4. Let's see. Say PY, P top. Sorry about that. P top 4. That's the padding from the top is using 4. All right. That's 1 rem or whatever that's called. Okay. So you can see now that the navbar is actually very transparent, because if you check it whenever I scroll this height of it, you can see we have that cool effect right there, right? Which is so cool. All right, so now we want to move on into another one, right? Which is actually this section. So this section is called the card section, I think. So we want to be able to build it out and then just link it out basically, right? Yeah. So let's build it. So this is going to be just going to close out everything we have and go to the other section, which is the feature section. Yeah, if I'm right, page. So it's definitely the next, which is good. So this is it. So I just want to rename this to section. And also for this to function, we need card. So we're gonna just create the data, create data structure. So icon path. Sometimes I use the word icon URL. So just /images/ So the first one will just be f_1.png, right? So that's the first one. The text, trade desk, chai. So we have the description, right? And then I think the description is this one. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it right in here. So there's some sort of terminators. Yes, I just removed that using VS Code Smart feature. I don't know if that's smart, but yes, it was a very cool feature. And then we have the button text. So we just have the button text or the link text, right? As the case may be. So this one is actually get started. Yeah, so let's duplicate this and we can have it here. So we have the F2, right? And then the title there is this one, right? Right. I'm just going to copy that, remove all of this, and remove on the crazy terminators. And the thing here is that if the link is actually find an ATM, right? So that's the link. I'm just going to copy this and replicate right here. This should be F3 now. And this is the conflip ATMs. This will be conflip wallet. And this will be our text. Okay, so let's make sure Everything's on the right order. So download, what we have here do is download the app. Right, so yeah, we basically have our setup. We have the icon URL, we have the text, we have the description, then we have the link text. So what we want to build now is the card. So we're going to build the feature card. So in the cards folder, I'm going to create a new file called feature card. All right, so yeah, the prop structure for this will follow the same pattern of what I just created. So I prop, we can say interface, I prop, right, and then what we do need in the I prop part is the icon here. Probably can just over this, and this should give you what you want already. Right, so go back to the feature card, you just paste it in there. Right, fantastic. So here we can basically just get all the orders, the text, description, then the link text. Right, so then we can make use of all of these props within the actual card component. So this is the card component, and the card component is actually very simple. It's just going to be we displaying the image and so on. So what we're going to do, we're going to just create a div into 3 places, right? So it can actually be just one div, and the rest can be a couple of p. Right, so this one will be the text. Right, so the other one will be the description. And yeah, so we'll have the link, right? So the link, ideally should just do a link, right? It's not really a big deal. So you can do an href here and all links to the same page, right? So yeah, so whatever we have here, we can style. So this link should be coming from next link, right there. And yeah, so here, what we're going to have here will be the link test. So good. So in here we have our image. So specify our source, the auth, and so we'll close it out. So the source of the image is going to be the icon URL, right? So this is going to be just the feature icon, right? And also we're just going to do flex column. So gap, depending on whatever gap we find here, so 16, right? So gap can just be 4. 4 is actually 1 rem here. 1 rem is 16 pixels, so that should work. And also we have to give this text subtitle, not really this one though, but I think on the description. Good, so this one will be text white, font bold, then text. So let's check the size of this text. It's actually 32, and we can do 32 pixel there. Yes, and also yes, so let's tidy the link that we have. So text primary, and yeah, so this link basically have this, and then the lucid icon to the right. So let's do arrow right. Right, yes, so yeah, we can do something like that. All right, so let's see what we have. So we don't have it yet. So what we're going to do is to try to play around with the feature card. Yeah, so the way we do that is to come in here, and we're just going to maybe create a div and do this, right? So we're going to do data.map, right? So what we have here is actually a feature, and then we have the index, which is fine, and we want to bring our feature card in there. So this will be our feature card. I have to spell this correctly, feature. So first of all, we have to spread the person, right? And then don't forget your key would be the index. Very good. All right, so let's see what we have on this one. Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. So yeah, the color of this should change, and it has to be on a flat surface, right? Yeah, so what we have here, you can forget about this one. So you can do flex. Okay, so the problem with this is we do a flex. Maybe we could do inline flex. So inline flex would not make the over effect. The link will only begin to function. Oh, it doesn't really work as well. So what we'll do, we'll make it very easy for ourselves. We're not going to add a flex here at all. So we just do, we keep it the way it is, and maybe create a wrapper div and put it there. I don't know how that will be, but let's see. So we have this link, then we have this. So everything has to be linked to do. So let's do, we can create a div inside of this. Okay, so let's try that out. Okay, so that's still not good. That's still not good. Okay, that's still not good. It doesn't need to extend to the end of the thing, but okay, we still have flex here. Okay, so let's do inline block. Inline block did work, but it's not strict, right? Because this one is a div component of its own. Okay, maybe inline flex. That's weird. Okay, there we go. So we're able to achieve that with the inline flex property, which is fine. And this one, I just want to give it a color, which is the same as the text primary. So let me grab the actual color from text primary, which is this. I'm going to put this in there, and that should change the color of that for us. And also, we can just do text primary, right? Very good. So we don't need it here anymore. Okay, so there we go. Let's see. So now the thing will be to put everything in the middle, item center. Yeah, so that means everything will be in the middle of the card, and the spacing will be taken care of, right? Definitely. So this is how it will be. And then we have a background color. Select this one, and this is our background color. So I'm going to do, just going to do bg, paste in the link, and rounded is 25. So rounded, that's actually 25 pixel. Okay, so that gives us a semblance of what to expect. So the padding from the top is 32. So we can do padding 32 on the top. On the x-axis is just 24. Right, yeah, so let's do that. All right. So let's do (32 pixel py). Let's do that. So px is like 24. All right, I want to reduce this in smaller screens, by the way, so it's fine. All right, so yeah, so let's go over to the features section. So here we can use flex justify around, and the gap between here and here is 20. Just going to do gap 20 pixel. Good. So this text has to be centralized, right? So let's do that. So let's go to feature code, text center. I'm gonna copy that too and add it to the description. And also, that's all actually. Yeah, so we have our cards, and yeah, I can say that the card basically just stretch a bit of the content we have within it. But the thing is, we have to make it really consistent, right? So Flex does not allow us to do that. Some cards are bigger than some other, except maybe we use the Flex Grow property, right? So yeah, let's do something like that. Flex Grow. If they can grow in similar proportion, which is very much unlikely in some cases, I think. Right, so they can't really like grow that much. So, but then for you to be able to solve or resolve that issue, we just normally default to using grid right here. So you can do grid columns 1. So MD grid columns 3. All right, so you can see that all the cards are the same width, right? Unlike before, this was larger than this and this, right? So now they all have the same, the same width, which is a good thing to, when you think about it. So just going to enlarge this and make sure that it's responsive. It is very responsive. All right, very good. Very good. Okay, so that's one of the things I think, and we just need a way to be able to click on this. It routes us back. Good. All right, so I think with that we are almost like done with the feature section, right? Except I think we have a couple of stars here, so I'll need to bring them in. It's going to be very easy, but I have to bring them in now. So to bring them in, it's we'll bring them into this section. So this section we have to mark it as relative, and also there's going to be a couple of divs right here, 1, 2, right? So the first one is going to be an image, so also with the second one, so slash images slash star underscore 1 dot png, right? And also we have it for the second one. So I think this one will be star underscore 2 right there. So now the thing is, we have our stars. We have to position them, Well, I don't think we can even like do it without positioning them absolutely, but yeah, it just depends. Yes, it just depends. So, and also, yes, just to have a consistent flow, the spacing between the side, it's very it's very much the same. It's 130 pixel by each side. So yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to the main page, which is here, and in this section we're going to do a div and add everything within it except footer maybe. So yeah, so we'll do mx or px 130 pixel for medium devices. But then in maybe like a small screen can just do P4, not a huge deal. So let's go there, and then you can see that we have the spacing factor. All right, so very good. So now we want to be able to play around with a couple of things, and that would be positioning this star in the right position, right? So yeah, so they actually, one is on top. I think this one will be absolutely positioned. This one can just shift it to whatever. All right, so let's go. So go to feature section. I'm just gonna close out a couple of things. Right. So yes. So this is going to be absolute and bottom 0 left 0. All right, and let's do bottom 8. Oh, that's a smaller one. Yeah, so yeah, definitely smaller one. Bottom 8, bottom 16. Okay, so left should just, check it out. So we're gonna do left 16. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, very close, kind of very close. So let's do 32. I guess it will be too much. So we can do 16, which is just 4 rem minus 4 rem. Then we can just do 5 rem. Or left 20. All right. Yeah, so the one on the bottom though, we can do similar thing. Right, yes, so we can just absolutely position it as well. Right. Okay. Yeah, so if we absolutely position this, the problem with that approach is I might not really be a good fit, right? We can achieve it, which is understandable, but we'll need to add some padding bottom, maybe like P32 to the bottom of this, right? So that there's a couple of space. So yeah, so bottom 16, maybe left 16 will be fine. So bottom 0. Something like that, yes, something like that. Oh, then the thing now is we do that padding. This creates more problem for the positioning of the stars. Yeah, so what I will do, I will keep this as is. Let's see if we can just apply a margin left of 16, but negative. Very good. So then margin top 8. Margin top 8. That's very weird. Or padding top 8 pixel. Can't really use much of the padding. Right. This is actually, yes, we can create some sort of margin for it, which is understandable. Let's see this gap between here and here, which is just a 3 pixel. So what I would do to mimic that, I'm just going to do padding bottom of this one. Padding bottom 32 pixel. Oh, that affects the other stars. That's so weird. All right, so the other stars we can do maybe bottom 32 and bottom 20. Yeah, something like that. Good, good, good. So we're able to achieve that quite easily. So let's check it out on mobile. All right, so this can actually just be hidden on mobile. There's no point having this crazy element. So hidden then block. All right, so yeah, so we're just going to do that. Okay, so let's go there. We have it from medium devices upwards. All right, so very good, looking nice. And yeah, so I think with this, we've come to the end of the feature section. So what I want to go into now has to do with the investment side of things, right? I think we can just use, a copy of the URL to do this actually, right? So yeah, so this is actually the next section we'll be building. See you there. All right, yeah, so we're going to move into the next part. And this has to do with this crypto investment section of it. So we're going to use the same component as we used in the landing page. I mean the hero page. Right, yeah, not really like we're using it for the entire thing, but for the main part. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go into the investment section. Right, which is a combination of this and this, I think. So what we're going to do is to basically Just add it in here. Okay, so let's put that in there. So let's import the main button. Right, so I think now we have the main button, which is good. And then we just need to pass in this text. Okay. And this is the description text. So paste it right in here. And let's see what the investment section now looks like. So the other thing is we don't need a BG of stars, or whatever that is. So we don't need any absolutely position stuff. Okay, crypto investment. Very good. So we have a get started button. Good. So then one thing that is a little bit absolutely positioned is the looper, right? So yeah, what we're going to do is to maybe undo that stuff, and then we bring the looper in. Looper shape. Okay, so yeah, there we go with the shape. So what we're going to do is to take it to the end, I think. Right, just like this. Okay, but zero right there. Check that out. Okay, that's good. So maybe we can do -0. Let's do 8 plus 16. Yeah, so I think this might not really work well because of the nature of stuff that we have. Yeah, so let's do right 0. And you remember we have a primary kind of skeleton. This one might actually be affecting it. So let's take that off and see if it gets to the end. Of course it does. Right, yeah. So that's actually like a very big problem to some of this, right? Because of the patterns there, right? It might really like affect it out and stuff. But then the good thing about this is we can still, absolutely just position it out. So yeah, so the way we go about absolutely positioning this stuff is like you can say right 2. Let's make it negative. Okay, so then we still have the padding. Yeah, so it's really an headache. It's really an headache. So maybe we might want to just take in this, take off this section for now. Put it below here for now. Okay, so yeah, so basically we have it. Right, and so this is more like pushed to the right for the most part. So let's go. Let's try 64. Easy bottom 16. Okay, so now I think what we can do here is to obviously make the shape a little bit like, smaller. Seems to be too big. Okay. Okay, so let's do 700. Yes, 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 that's so good. And then let's do right there. Exactly. And also, one thing we'll do is to make sure, are we gonna rotate this? Yeah, so I think this is it basically, right? There's other write-ups here, right? Yeah, so in terms of the spacing or the padding, we can put that specifically to the text here, and we can take all of this and put it here. Go to page, all of this stuff, we can put it there. Very good. So now we still have our background or probably like cut out, which is a good thing. Okay, so now let's build out a different part of this application, which has to do this section, right? So there's actually left and right section. So let's build that part. Yeah, so let's do that. So what we have so far, good, good, good. So I want to build this out. All right. So what we do is this is the part of this section, but it's just like a subsection within it, and this should be having like two divs, the left and the right. Right, yeah, so the first one, that's the one on this side, is going to be an image, src, specify alt, and then we'll close that out. So this is just going to be a kind of security badge. Yeah, so then we need the image itself. So let's say images slash um so this big left. Okay, so this is it. So let's copy this, copy the name there. All right, so then this one we basically need to put in lots of p tags. So let's do it. So we have the description. Okay, so this is more of a div actually, because I think we'll be having access to the button. And yeah, so the button we're going to use, we already have something similar within the navbar, which is this one. So we can just grab it and put it there. But then we want to change the text to get started. Okay, so just take this off, not really a priority. This is gonna use any custom variable, so we'll do get started. All right, so yeah, so I think we have a couple of things. Flags justify between. Yeah, something like that, yeah. Something like that. There's the flex grow here. There's a light to glow. Let's see if it grows, through the end of the section, which it isn't. Yes, so sorry, like it's taking over the investment section. Oh, that's so not what was expected. That's weird. Yeah. So maybe we were having some sort of like div or something related. This separate section. Okay, so let's check it out now. That is it. Okay, so yeah, I could just create a separate section, right? Not really a huge deal. So we can call this the 247 section. So this one I can now take it to the page, and yeah, we'll just display it here into be the 247 section, and we have it imported. Okay, good. You can see that it's coming in as expected. So yeah, so what I'm going to do here is to try to make sure that everything is item centered, vertically centered. Good, good, good. And then we have to make sure that this thing is large, right? So this is actually using 50. So from board, and then we'll go over here. It's going to have the text subtitle, and yeah, so just basically get started. The width here is 156, height 56. Okay, so let's see what we have so far. Looking good. So let's see the distance between here and here. So that's like 16 pixels, 16 pixels. Okay, so the margin bottom is like 32 pixels. Alright. Okay, so let's check the spacing. Okay, so now the thing is, we don't need to display this in like in full order, I would say. So also with this, doesn't have to be full. So we can come in here and remove the H screen. That makes it a little bit shorter, I think. Okay, so let's put it back. Okay, so yeah, I'm just worried about the spacing we're having right there. Oh, this is due to this image here. So not sure if we could reduce the height of that image. Okay, seems to be too much. Okay, so what I would do, I would grab what we have so far, make a duplicate. So make a duplicate of it. So this is everything we have, which is a good thing. We just need to like, shorten it and shorten it. Oh shit. We have to be careful the way we shorten these stuffs, right? It's going to look very weird. So maybe we can just create a frame and add a new frame here. It doesn't really matter. So I want to try to put this within the frame, right? So let's do copy it, paste it within that frame. Okay, so there's a little frame we have, and we can drag this into it. Yes, so yes, we can. I'm not sure why that is acting up. But the thing we could do is, obviously just, oh, there are lots of inconsistent stuff. Right. We have to somehow reduce the size of this stuff. It's way too long. Okay, so let's play around with the height. Okay, and let's forget about the flex grow. Let's do an height of say 300 pixel. Let's try that out. That's weird. Yeah, so that image seems to be too large. I just need a very unique way to cut it down a bit. Okay. We have too much spacing. Yes, I could as well just take it off in mobile, hidden. Really very good. Okay, so then there's another approach we could take, which is not really best one of this approach, but you could use a negative margin to shift it to the top. Let's do 10 rem. Okay. All right. Let's do 20. We have to make sure that this is actually very responsive. Do 30. Okay, so let's check it out on different screen sizes. Okay, so what we'll do is to only apply this one when it's a large device, right? So let's check it out. Yes, so let's go. Okay, so let's do maybe an extra large. Okay, very good. For the most part, yes, we could do something like that, which works. And then let's reduce this. Right, and also um the H screen can just be for medium devices for this other section, right? Right, 247. Okay, go back to the page. Okay, so let's do 16 for for desktop devices, 8 for mobile. Yeah, that looks good. Let's check this out again. All right, so the other thing we need to do is there's some level of padding in the actual text, right? So let's include that. So the way we do this is we could use this class right here. So this class is okay, and then we just need to put it within the in a 247 part. Right, so let's put it there. Very good, very good. So yeah, so we have what we needed, and also we have to reduce this text in case of like mobile. So we just do text Tailwind and with 2 rhyme. Yeah, something like that just works. Right, maybe MT4. All right, that was best for works so good for mobile, I would say. So now we basically have this section. We have this other part, which is fine. Okay, so we just need a way to be able to work on something similar, which is this one, right? So we just have to import this and put it right in the right order. Okay, so yeah, all right. Let's see, make sure that everything is still as expected, which it is, right? And yeah, so let's build this. Take your first step section. So I'm just going to make like let's make sure that everything here works. Before we move on to a different component, just have to be sure. So I'll click on this, open it out. Very good. So very good. Very good. I think this is looking nice. Okay, so let's see. Let's go. And we're just going to make like a duplicate of everything we have here in the text steps section. Right, so yeah, the thing though will be that the image will be on the right. You could reverse it, doesn't really matter. So big left section. So big right case. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so big right case dot svj. All right, got you. Okay, this is it. When I explore with svg, it has some shapes, which is some curves, which is not anticipated, but it's weirdly what we haven't designed though. That's very weird. This is it. Let's explore that. Preview. Okay, let's mark everything. Oh shit. Okay, so I think here though we can move this one. Oh, we can't. Okay, so let's remove all of this. Not really huge fan of this. And so what we can do is we're going to just make a duplicate here. So this one we can group. And as far as it's groupable, it can be exported. Okay, so let's export this as suitcase. Okay, so we're going to put this within the images folder as suitcase because this is very different from the other one. So we can now say So suitcase.png. Okay, something like that. Something like that, but it looks better compared to before, right? And also, what we need now is just the margin top. Yeah, so let's see. Okay, so yes, let's change the text. The text we have here is this, I think. And then we have our descriptions right there. So just gonna paste that in and remove this white space for an object. Okay, so now this actually have a background, the gradient background. So we're gonna go there and just do primary gradient. Okay, so we don't really have any borders here. We might want to like take this off. Okay, so the border should be gone now. We have the get started button. We have all of this. Okay, so let's check it out on mobile. Very good, looking nice. Okay, so now we are good. We're good. Yeah, so I think we are basically done with this section, and I think the only thing left is this shape right here. Right, I think we already have something similar. If okay, no, we don't. So I'm just going to export it. So this would be our half circle, half large circle. So this can as well just be underscore, so we are consistent. So yeah, half large circle. So we're going to put this within the images folder. So you can see it's there, very good. And so the way it's going to work is going to actually be relative to this parent. So I'm just going to come in here and create a div. So this div will actually contain the half, so the half circle, is that what we'll call it? Half large circle, I think, half circle. So yeah, so we have the half large circle. There's it, there it is. So yeah, so what we're going to do is going to do the positioning. So absolute 0, 0. I should put it around here, which is okay. And okay, so yeah. So basically I have to do some styling on it, to be honest. It's not looking good as expected. So yeah, so what we're going to do here, I think, is maybe make it a little bit smaller. Let's do 400 pixel. Very good, very good. So that one gives us a far more, far more rich. So what we want to do is something like this. So we have to take it to the top a bit. Let's do it and make this negative. Very good, very good. And from then we can worry about it being at the background compared to be on top of the text. So we want to make sure that this text stays on top. So the way we do that easily is we can come in here. I can specify some level of z index. So you can just say z10 here. and this guy will be z minus 10. Yeah, that should fix it for us. So now the tick, this one is now on top as expected, right? So we still have those. So this is something likely that will hide on a mobile screen. So we'll put it in there, MD block, nice. Right, we shouldn't be having it on mobile. So if you do mobile, it's gone. If you do desktop, boom, it's there. All right, very good. So that means we are almost there, right? So the next section has to be the transmission part, right? The transmission section of it. And yes, we just basically need to figure out how we want to achieve this growing input, right? We'll see how we can go about that in a moment. So we have a couple of things, right? I think we basically just have two sections to go. And for this section here, we'll be needing the input, right? And one way we can get that, we can actually get this from the Shadcn input or text field, I think. So I'm just going to search for that. Open it out. Yeah, so we're going to be using this input. Good. So you can copy this. Copy the npm part and go in here. So I'm just going to open a different terminal instance. And yeah, let's paste that in there. Okay, so this will try to install our input. And one other thing I think we need is the separator, right? From here you can see we have the separator. So we can actually use the Shadcn divider, for that use case. So divider or separator, I think it's called separator. Nice, this is it. So yeah, we'll actually have to manually install it. And since this is still installing, which is okay, so I can duplicate this and just install the second one. All right, so we have two things in progress. That's the input, which is done now, and then the separator, which is still in progress. Okay, so while we wait, we can as well just continue with the rest of the implementation, right? And there we go. So let's create this receive transmissions component. Then we already have it, receive transmission. So now this is actually a section though. You have to rename it a bit to section. Okay, so let me rename this as well. So yeah, we'll change the div to section. All right, and let's look at the layout, right? I think it's particularly just straightforward. It's more of the same thing as as a title, but a little bit smaller in font or whatever you call it. All right, so let's create it. So in here, we are going to have the title, which is receive transmissions, receive, right? Okay, receive transmissions, right? And the other one we have is going to be unsubscribe at any time. Unsubscribe at any time. So let's create a span with privacy policy. Well, I'll just make this a div actually. This is going to be a div, and this is going to be a span, which is okay. So privacy policy, and we're going to have the little icon. So that was an arrow, by the way, arrow right or whatever. Then we can rotate it. So arrow right. Okay, so we can come here and do rotate. Right, rotate 80 as 40 here. So you can do rotate 40 or 45, Well, we'll see. So we can just say, eyeball it when we see it. So it's going to be pretty easy. And first thing I start with is to make sure that the text is subtitle, and then this part is white, right? And then the arrow, whatever, this should be. I think this should actually be white, to be honest. Okay, so now we have the actual. Sorry about that. Oh no, what the heck? All right, then this is it. Okay, close out the rest. Wait a moment. Okay, so there we go. So here we're going to have the text. We don't know the size, so we're going to just check the size. Okay. Maybe I will just take this out so we can, select this out properly. So with this, take off all of this stuff. Some of this design can be, Okay, so let's look for a better way. We can just search for it. Right, let's do Ctrl F and search for unsubscribe. Alright, so now that we have that, yeah, so now is it. We already have the color, so no point doing this. This is the color there. So we can, this is it. We already, this is the subtitle. Yeah, alright, so we can undo all of this. Very good. Yeah, so rotate. Let's do -45. Very good, something like that. Yeah, that should basically give our rotation what we need. So this text is the same as this one, most especially. So this one is like 50, so we'll make it 50 as well. So this can be 50 pixel, and okay, so we'll now have it as 2 rem. Right, we have to make sure that it's bold. I use the font bold property. Alright, so yeah, so this arrow right and the text, everything needs to be in a straight line. So start by flexing out everything. Alright, and I think there should be some level of spacing between the policy and the arrow. Yes. Okay, so we can just do paddle right 2. Very good, or 1 should be fine. Yeah, alright, so yeah, there's a spacing between this full stop here and privacy. Alright, so yeah, so there's just px1. Right, yeah, that should work. Very good. And the next thing is we have to make sure that we have it positioned at the middle, right? So let's grab our input. Okay, to go tab and copy this one. It's an email field. So we're just going to pass it down here. So the placeholder here is email address. Alright, so let's see what we have so far. Very good. So now we have to make sure we change the color. It should be transparent. Okay, so the input component, we can go to the input.tsx and change the coloring and stuff. So what I will do, I'll just go to the UI folder. We have the input here. So now that we have the input, we can do this is the BD white. I will just do BD transparent. Alright, so let's check it out now. Good, you can see that it's as expected. So the focus though, it's going to be very tricky. Given that what we have here, right, it's not really what we already have. But then what we can do is for cases like this, we could make everything here maybe a div, right? I can just paste everything inside, right? And then I'll create a different div. So I'm just going to create primary gradient. All right, so that's our primary gradient, and now we want it to basically take in the width and height of this particular element, right? And not sure if this works, but let's see if it doesn't have a width yet, so very much unlikely, right? And let's do height. Should almost be the same with this. Yeah, so height is 10, right? Let's do height 10 to. Okay, there we go with that. And now the thing is, if we take it smaller, if we enlarge it, it's going to mimic the exact size of the input, right? Which is a good thing when you think about it. All right, and also we want to be able to pass in some class names here. So what we'll do, we're going to concatenate the Tailwind classes. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. What we're going to do here, we already have the CN utility. The CN utility basically combines different classes together, and then you can pass in your own like object and stuff, right? So I'm going to show you how it works. So I have my parentheses, close it up, right, and pass in every styles I think I'll be needing. And also I'm just going to be passing in the the tailwind. So now the way the scene works is that you can actually take in strings, like strings of classes, right, separated by comma. So we're going to separate it. When you pass in any other class here, it's going to have this class override what you already have, right? So we'll just pass maybe the class name that you want to pass in here, right? So we can do class name, or we can do something differently, right? You can just do the gradient. You can do the gradient class name, something like that, and then we can now pass it in here. So this class name will be specific for the gradient, right? So now it's actually complaining. So gradient class name does not exist on type input props. So this is the input props. So what we want to do here is extend it, I think. So let's do, we can call this extended input props, right? It's going to extend from input props to include this guy. So this guy is going to be of type, I think just string, right? So yeah, we can now pass this one in here, and that should be fine, right? So this is the way you can manually extend classes in Tailwind. So now we have access to the gradient class name, which is a string, and the same thing with a class name. Let's also have a class name which is string or undefined. I think we should do that as well. String or undefined, just in case you don't pass it in, it won't be a problem, right? String or undefined, string of undefined is actually optional, so we'll make it optional as well. So yeah, this one optional string undefined gradient, optional string undefined. Fantastic. So this is actually a very scalable approach you could take, and it's easy to to modify the gradient field in this case. Okay, so now that we have the gradient and this, So one thing we will do, we'll try to remove this over. I don't think it's actually a problem. We can leave it for now, but we have to make sure we overlay this gradient on top of this, right? Yeah, so probably this height can be something like 12, a little bit bigger. So what we're going to do, we're going to maybe make this relative. Okay, let's make this relative. Okay, not really a relative thing, but yes, I have to approach this. I'll try other ones. I want to work, go with that. So absolute top 0, left 0. Okay, let's do right 0 and bottom 0. Okay, all right. So let's see. We want to make sure that our input is on top. This one is on top, so we can actually specify a z10 here, and in here we can do minus z10. Okay, so yeah, this will put the this one on top of the other. Yeah, so that means we still have our gradient overlaying it, right? So now the thing is we have to position this almost perfectly. So first of all, let's grab the actual height of this input right here. So the height here is like 56 pixel, right? 56. So what we're going to do is we change the height. So this can be fine here because we can come in here and just say, okay, you can give a class name height 56 pixel. So you can come in here and do gradient class name height 56 pixel. So that way we don't really affect some other things. Yes, you can see they are all coming in as expected. You can see our input is in there and stuff. So now the thing is we don't want this one. Our input needs to have a background. And the background it should correspond to what we already have here as custom dark, I think, as this one. So we're gonna go in here and go to input, right? So maybe we can just come here and do PG like that. Okay. Okay, so now the thing is we don't want this to obviously override what we are having here, which is what it's doing right now, which is not fair. Right, so let's do that. Let me the gradient, let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's do 60 pixel. Okay, right, good. Maybe 70. Okay, good. So let's go to input. Let's take yeah, let's take this one to the top a bit, maybe -8. Let's try it out. Oops, not good. Okay, that's weird. Okay, so it seems this might not really be a good thing. Okay, or I can do a different thing. Maybe leave it the way it was before. Let's take the background off and make this one a little bit smaller. Let's do 50. Okay, let's do 40. And line top. Okay, yes, not really bad, but the problem now is we need a way to make sure that it's actually, drop down, which we are not seeing. Okay, how do we go about that? All right, let's see. All right, maybe we can just take all of this off. Yes, so let's make this one. Let's separate it. Maybe minus margin top. Let's do 4 rem. 5 rem or 2 rem. So the margin top has to be the same height as maybe what we have, right? For it to make sense, I think. Let's do 15 pixel first. Okay. 2 rem. 3 rem. Very good. So we'll go back here. We'll make sure that the BG still takes in, what we have here. All right. Okay, so that's the BG right there. And okay, so now we have to make sure that the Z index works, which is not working at this stage. Okay, so let's do Z10. Now the Z index doesn't work, which is strange. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so what I've done, I just basically changed this to a much more appropriate one, and then we have a very good setup, right? So then what would I think we'll remove this outline so that it looks way more better. So yeah, any outline we see or any ring offset, we just take it off. So yeah, these are lots of classes. Let me try to break it down into separate lines. Right. Okay, like that. Yeah, so you could just do this. Okay, so I think I just did it, very easy to attach them together so they are not too long, right? I think that makes much sense. So the thing now is we don't need any ring offset or whatever. We can just, make it black as the case may be. So you can take this off. Sorry, you can take that off. We can do feasible, take this one off as well, not really a thing. And border slate, we don't need a border. We don't need a border. We don't need that. We don't need any of those. Right. Okay. So even when we took those off, it's still there. That means the thing we could do is to, instead of taking it off, we have to change the color. Custom dark. Yeah, so changing the color basically will, if it's active though, carrying offset, some dark, focus visible. doing custom dark. Okay, so let's go. It's still there. That's crazily stubborn. Um, focus visible. Doing offset 2, which is okay. We're not offsetting anything. Let's check it out now. All right, very good. So it's black or whatever that is. Okay, so yeah. So ring 2, focus visible. Maybe I can just take everything here off, to be honest. Yeah, let's see if that works. Very good, very good. So we could do that. And yeah. So now we want to focus on beautifying this. And yeah, so let's make our input a little bit bigger, I think. Right, so the height of this one can actually be 42, 43. Right, okay, that's 44. And 44 to 46. Okay, go to the input. Let's do maybe top just one. Very good, something like that. And 50. Okay, so let's do this 45. And 46. Okay, so the thing is, it keeps growing, and this does not really grow alongside it, which is so annoying, right? And yeah, I want to make what we have on the bottom. Want to make the same thing on the top, right? And can be bottom 0, top 0. Okay, 0.5. 0.5, very good. Okay, top 1. Okay, so now this is very crazy. So let's do 3 pixel. Yeah, something like that just works. It looks perfect. So yeah, so let's do maybe like 4 pixel, 3 pixel, maybe 3.5, 2.7, 1.5, 1.6, 7. Okay, that's 2 pixel. Something like that, yeah. Yeah, I think something like that works. Just have to be sure that that's as expected. Alright, so let's zoom in a bit. Yeah, it seems we are on the same track. Could it be my eyes? Yeah, I think that works, to be honest. That works. I think we should be good. So now what else we're going to do now is to obviously just, add some sort of, link to it. Right. Yes. So yeah, we could do this externally. So we could just create a div, put in the input here and arrow right. And now this can actually be relative. And arrow right on the other end has to be absolutely positioned. So absolute So 0, right is 0. Okay, so yeah, we just should have a very good z index. So let's just say 20. Yeah. So we basically were using a couple of z10s, right? Yes. So this should when we minimize it, it still follows suit. That means it's very responsive, right? So I think the text color it's very similar. Let's see if we can grab one of those. This is it. So you can just come in and do color. Okay, so that's our color. So let's position this thing at the center. Okay, so top 4. Okay, top 3. Right. So right can just be 3 as well. Yes, something like that. Okay, and also the thing is a little bit like smaller in size. So we might want to, it has a size attribute, the 20. Yeah, something like that. Good, good, good. Okay, so now we have to figure out, where to position this thing at, right? So we have all the components and the spacing between both of them, right? It's not that much. Okay, very good. All right, and also the thing has to be curved here, so we have to put mx a bit for the actual input. So I'm just going to go to input, and yeah, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do maybe mx3, right? Let's see. Yeah, that's for it to move inside a bit. Okay. So if that doesn't work, that means we need to use the calc keyword. I don't know how that works in Tailwind, but let's research it. Using calc in Tailwind. Let's pick this one and see what we have. Oh, there we go. This is it. Good, good, good. That should work. So paste it in here. So what I want to do is to do 100% minus, something, right? Instead of full width, we will be using this one. So not 120, but let's do from 20 pixel, starting from that. Oops, that doesn't work as expected. I obviously need to figure out how that will work, to be honest. Okay, let's override this width. It's not correct. Okay, so now it should work. Okay, so 20 pixel here is too far away from both sides, right? There should be a way to to have the right stars, right? Okay, so let's do 10. Okay, so now the problem is it pushes it from the from the left, which isn't what I need. But then we could do m left 2. Okay, something like that. And 2 seems to be too much. Let's do 1. Okay. And maybe whatever I'm taking away from the width has to be 1 rem as well. So let's do 1 rem is officially 16 pixel, right? So let's try that out. Oh, sorry, it doesn't require square bracket, please. Okay, too much. Let's do 10. Right. Let's do 8. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. So now the other thing now here is that we have some level of roundedness. So we have some level of roundedness and it's rounded by 10 pixel, right? So yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to go into the gradient container and do rounded 10 pixel, right? Let's try that out. Good, good, good. But let's make sure we are not missing anything. So the side still seems to be too much. We have to, look for a way to make it less. So the rounded here is 10 pixel. Maybe the rounded, instead of having rounded medium here, it has to be rounded 10 pixel. Very good. So let's reduce the sizing of the gradient on both sides. Okay, go back to this section. And okay, yeah, here, sorry. So now that we are here, so let's see if there is a way we can reduce this more. So ML1, let's do 0.5. Very good. Something like that, to be honest. So let's change that to 10 pixel. Okay, maybe 5. Okay, maybe 0. 3. 4. Okay, something like 4 seems very good and realistic, to be honest. All right. So yeah, so we can basically just impute what we need right there. So yes, this is actually very cool, judging from what we can see. Why do we have this section scattered? That's so weird. Refresh it. What's going on? Okay, so let's investigate. Okay, this is actually on the page. Let's comment out this one. Okay, this one. Oh, okay, yeah, I think this zooming effect actually scattered it a bit. All right, now I now noticed a couple of things. So the zoom effect might actually be, for accessibility. We need to talk about this later, right? I'll come back to that. It should be very, very like cool way to, to implement it. I'm gonna undo this. Receive transmission. Okay, so now there we go with that. And yeah, so you can see we have the minimum, right? So we can do a minimum of 304 pixel. All right, let's go there. So min width of 304 pixel. Let's check that out. Very good. Yeah, so yeah, we should pass the same thing to the gradient class as well. All right. Okay, so this is just taking string, so it's supposed to take in the same class as this. Okay. Okay, so no worries. So yeah, it doesn't really work with this, which is source of worry. But nevertheless, not really this is a priority that much. Yeah, it's fine what we have. Okay, so let's do the separator. I think the separator is only relevant when you want to build out the actual footer. So this shape will come in when we have both the transmission section and also the footer section, right? Okay, so now let's grab the separator. Okay, so you know what? We could just go straight to the footer part of things, right? Change this to section. Okay, so we could just do const company links. Not really like a company links or whatever it is. Yeah, I think so. Not really. It's just like the first set. Here we have company. Then we have the about. Then we have the careers. We have the press. We have the news. We have the match, right? So yeah, so this would be the other one would be the second set, right? Yes, the second set is like privacy policy and terms of service, coin flip. Okay. This will be biometrics, privacy policy. Okay, so there's a little space there, which is okay. Then we have the financial privacy notice. All right, so we have the coin flip terms of service. So we have the coin flip terms of service. Okay, so I think we basically have all the links here. So the other section we might just need is just like the what's it called? The footer logo here. I think that's an image. Okay, so let's do export, preview. Is that the right thing? Let's do SVG. You can't see anything. That's weird. Oh, okay. So it's coming in. So we're just going to obviously rename this to the footer logo. So yeah, we should have this within the code base. Put it within the images folder. Good, good, good. Okay, so now let's bring our separator in. Okay, so be mindful when you import separator. The separator you are importing is not from Ragless UI, but from the UI folder, right? So that means it's already been modified by Shadcn. So go in there and good, good, good. So let's change the color of it. Yeah, so I think this should be the actual color. I think this one actually, or this. Not sure which one, but one of those. It's just acting crazy, but let's do BG white, maybe 50. Forty, 10. Okay, so let's do border. Mm. Okay, maybe we can just take off the border, not really, something we should be looking at. If we did take off the border, it's so weird. I can see the red line, but oh, okay, okay. Yeah. So what we can do, we can just do my16. Okay, let's do py. Yeah. So this actually works. Okay, so let's do y40. Good, 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 good ball. All right, so let's build the left part of the footer. And the way we go about that, we can just create, you can just go to div right here, and then create a different one. I can have it like 1, then 2, then 3, right? So we can have those 3 divs. So the first div should contain the footer logo. So that's the footer logo, and then we have you know the description text. Where, to be honest, I think we have like 2 description texts. So look for a way to basically separate those. Alright, so remove all of those weird white spaces. And starting from sign up here, we could just break this down into its own paragraph, so we can control it more. Okay, so what next? We have we have the input. So before the input, I think we have the GPD audience, right? So yeah, so this makes sense, and can reduce this a bit. Okay, so let's have our input here, somewhere around here, and so the same input we use, I think, in the transmission section, we're going to use the same input here. So maybe I just copy it. Let's import this from the UI folder. This one from Lucid React. So you can do the text white and 40 opacity. Let's see if that works for us. Yeah, it does work for us. Good. So we use the same class name within here and also here. Yeah, so let's establish the spacing. That's 32 from the top. So we have it like 32 from the top. The spacing between here and here isn't that much, so we'll just have to, modify that. So we do empty it. Okay, or my as the case may be. My8. Seems to be too much space in the sign up part though. Why can be 4 here? This one on the other hand is 24. All right, very good. So now we have the left part. So let's worry about how we can draft the right part of things. So yeah, so the right part seems to always just come from, from all of these ones. So let's do that. First set the map. Let's do link and then we do the index. So yeah, so each individual can actually each part of this can actually be their own specific links. But for now, I'll just use the p tag basically. Yeah, so we're going to put the name in here, which is fine. Okay, yeah, so let's grab each of our link and put it there. And then the text will just be subtitle, the one we already have. And then we'll put in the index as key. All right. Now let's see what we have in there. There's a gap 6, it's too much. Good, not too much. So you can change all of this text white to text subtitle. Very good. So now we'll need to do the same thing for this other part of things, privacy policy part. Okay, so now we have it. Very good. So now we basically have all of the things I think we'll be needing, the right side and this other part. So we just need to work them into, you know, into a grid like, not really grid, but I just like to use flex here. Justify between with full. Yeah, very good. Right. So now we need to figure out the spacing between the startup. Oh, this one actually changed. So it's different from what if text subtitle. So we can just use text wide 40. Good. Okay, so the distance between here and the spacing here is like 97 pixel. Okay, so that 97 pixel should come in here, I think. Okay, so I think one final part we like to do is to set like max width to this thing. So this one is like 304, should be the max width. Exactly. So this would be the max width for this component, I think. So that's very much very easy. So let's position this as I said before by specifying the max width to be 304 pixel. So we'll go to transmission section and just put it right here. So I should fix it for us. Or just do width. So yeah, this work can actually be for medium devices though. Very good. Very good. So now we need some sort of general padding. This one is more like justify around if you check it properly. So let's make sure that we are having that in the footer section. So justify around. Very good. So yeah, it's been justified around, and then we'll grab everything. Yeah. So I think we have it now. So let's check out the mobile version and make some updates to it if need be. So yes, these are the different sections we have. Okay, so we need a way to be able to add some sort of padding to this. Okay, so that's for the footer. So you can do px maybe 4. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. It looks very clean. So I think the spacing here seems too much. Yeah, so this one can be for maybe medium devices. Okay, so on mobile we can make it like smaller MT8. Very good. Okay, so I think it looks very good, right? And yeah, so I think with this we've really come to the end of this section. And yeah, so we just try to obviously like animate it and how we can go about the animation. I think that will be the very next thing we are considering in the next parts of this lesson. Yeah, see you there. All right, yeah. So we're setting up the frame motion to basically animate some sections of the application, right? And the way this works is we basically need to install the motion library. So you can do this by typing the npm install motion in your terminal, right? So you should have something similar to this, right? So this should be able to install motion in your in the project. And once you have this, I already have it installed, so I'm not going to do it again, right? Once you have that, you're just going to use it straight up, right? It's very easy the way we have it. So I'm just going to show you, side by side what we have in terms of how all of this basically comes together. And yeah, so I think it will make much sense after I explain the different procedures on how the frame motion works, and then how we can basically wrap it around an actual component, right? I should do that. So what I'm going to do in this stage is to dock this on the side. I'm going to dock this browser on the left pane, right? At the same time, I would dock one of the code snippets just on the right. Okay. So all right. So I think with this we can be able to explain much more better, right? And now we already have the Figma motion installed, which is a good thing. And the next part is how we can actually use it. So you can use it by actually importing it. You can use it by doing the npm just import Figma motion from Figma motion. So note that Figma motion is actually it's not a default export, right? So you need those just bracket right within it. So if you have that, we need a way to be able to pass into the text. For example, we have a basic text here, a basic paragraph, and you can see we have some key props that is now available to the paragraph tag, right? And this is the initial, while in view, transition, and viewport. So initial means what will be the state of this particular paragraph if the animation has not started, right? So if the animation has not started, we want the opacity to be 0 and the y to be 30. We already know how y works, right? I already demoed it in the last video, but I think I should do something similar in this one as well. So yeah, I'm just going to draw a line. So it's just more like this, right? And draw another line. If I could draw, let's put this at the middle. So yeah, so here you can see this part is actually y and this part is x, right? So this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. If you are doing 30, that means y is going to be coming in from above, right? It's going to come from above. Then if you want to take it to 0 to come downward, because here we have 0. So at this stage we have 0 here. This is the positive part and this is the negative part, right? So the top is positive and down is negative. So also here is positive and here is negative. Just like the normal graph we used to draw in the school days, yeah? So the same thing applies. So yeah, so when it's not animated, we want it to be on Y30, maybe somewhere around here. And when this particular tag is in view, we want to improve the opacity from 0 to 1. That means we want to show the paragraph text and take the y back to the initial stage, which is 0. So y at any point is the resting state of your component along the y-axis. So we'll put it at 0, right? So during the transitioning, we can control a couple of other things, right? In terms of like duration, how long do you want the animation to last, right? In this place, we're using 0.2 seconds, which is the same thing as 200 milliseconds, right? And this animation is going to span across that length of time, right? So the other property viewport means you can use it has a lot of other sub properties. We have once, for example, means that this animation is meant to only run multiple times because once is false. If once is true, it's going to run only once. But as far as we have once to be false, it's going to run as multiple times as possible. Right. So this is actually the structure of a paragraph text, and it's very much more easily understandable. And once we go along all of this, we have the other section called variants. Right. So variant allows you. I'm going to show you the code real quick. Close up everything. Close up everything here and go to source library animation. Right. I'm just going to be and yeah, so these are our variants, right? Just in case you're curious. So variants allows you to be able to reuse the animation, your animations amongst different components, right? You can see the one I just defined above. There's no way you can reuse this except you basically just have to copy it and paste it somewhere else. But with variant, you can be able to to reuse all of these properties and pass it to as multiple components as possible. So that's one thing that makes variants really stands out. And also there's something about variant. Variant is actually in two ways. We have the parent part and then we have the child or children part. The parent part and the children part basically has the same properties. So if for example you are having like the hidden property and the visible property in the parent part, that same thing applies to the child or children, right? And yeah, so anything you pass in within it does not really matter, but you should have the same properties, right? So we have like hidden property now, hidden field. We have the visible field. This same thing should be available in the child animation or the child variant, as the case may be. So here we have the hidden and then we have the visible, right? So this list is actually the child part. So you can see from hidden, if it's actually on the hidden face, we want the opacity to be 0. But if it's visible, we want the opacity to be set to 1. And then the transition is just going to stagger the children in, right? So we have 0.125 and just the staggering field. So now the thing is, if it's actually this is actually the wrapper, just for you to know, and this will be the list. So this list is likely going to be for the child element. So if it's hidden, we want the opacity to be 0 and y maybe -100. So -100 should be coming down from the bottom, right? Like the way I already explained here. This is the positive part and this is the negative part, right? So if it's the negative part, you're doing something like -100, it's going to come from bottom, boom, to the top, to the 0 state. So the 0 state is the resting state, and that's the state that it will get to when the animation is done, right? Yeah, so you can actually play around with this and play around with your y, the x axis, and so on. But your basic understanding of the cardinal point will go a long way in how you basically structure, the moving parts of your animation. All right. So now that we have the list, you can see that if it's hidden, we have opacity set to 0, and y is actually -100, right? But then if it's visible, opacity is 1. We put y back to the resting state, which is okay. And the transition, we say, okay, oh, this animation should last for like, for 300 milliseconds, right? Which is 0.3 seconds. And it's just going to ease in and out, which is okay, right? It's just going to have some easing, and yeah, so this easing is going to span across like this, right? So it's going to change from here to here, from here to here, right? Within the duration scope you specify, right? So if you specify, this could actually be more. You could make it like 4 or 5 or whatever, just so that your easing will actually respond to as many as the attribute you specified or the value you specify, right? So I think this basically just explains it. So what I normally do, I normally just create a file called animation.ts, and this file will be able to house all the animations, right? So what I will just do, I will wrap them in a custom variant and use them within my actual application, right? So now I'm just going to, obviously go over to the actual application and show you how we might actually implement this. right? I think before I do that, I just want to obviously just recap to make sure we are on the same page, right? For you to use Figma Motion, you have to install it, right? By using the npm install command, and when you're done installing it, you need to mark it. If you're using the app router, you have to mark that component as a client component because now we assume that that component is going to be highly interactive, right? So it needs to be a client component for you to be able to animate it, and then you basically have to import it this way. So then you have to whatever tag you're using, if it's an image tag, if it's paragraph tags, if it's an input tag or whatever, you just have to do motion dot tag name, right? And then this allows that tag to be able to have other vital properties or attributes like initial, wine view, transition, and viewport, right? So this gives you enough privilege to be able to animate, what you play around with, right? Yeah. So I think with this, you basically understand the idea of of how we can actually implement, how we can basically implement variants, right? How we basically implement animation. So for the variant, the child and the parent component or the parent variant needs to have the same field. So this is hidden, visible, right? You can't call this hidden and you call this maybe hide. So it should not work. So it needs to be in the same name because I'll show you how we can implement them in a bit. Okay, so if you're done, you can now export maybe the custom variant with a group of all the different variants we will be needing, right? So yes, this is exactly how you can go about it. And yeah, we can actually go through the actual code implementation now. So yes, I'm going to go to the actual app. I'm just going to refresh this. So you can see this is actually the moon coming in from the side. I'm just going to refresh it one more time. So you can see the moon coming in slightly from the right and the text coming in, kind of smoothly, right? Boom. So this is actually we just using some sorts of, using part of the variant to achieve this. I'm just going to open this up and go to app, go to, different component. I think, sorry, this should be in sections. And this should be, the first one is the hero section. So in the hero section, this is what we are doing. Just going to put this on this side, right? So yeah, so for the text, we are doing a couple of things. We're just using the same thing. You can see they are coming from beneath. This is the same setup I already explained here, right? This is the same setup I've explained around here, I think. All right, so I'm just going to, take that to the side. There should be a move. Okay, there we go. Very good. All right. So yeah. So now that we have this, it can easily just show you how the hero is. So you can see this hero looks, very similar with what we have here. It's almost the same. Yeah, it's almost the same. So now what we are doing now is that in the initial state we set y to 30. On top is going to, if it's view, it's going to go back to the resting state. So I'm just going to, refresh this for you. You can see what we have there, right? So when it's not animated, it's actually 30, but merely is animated, it goes back to the resting state of 0, right? So the same thing I did for this one, but if you notice, this basically animates before this and this, right? Because I'm controlling the duration, right? Duration here is 0.2. Okay, so now we are good for the most part. And yeah, as I was explaining, the first part, this will animate before this one and before this. Yeah, so this is possible because I'm just controlling the duration. So this will animate in the first 200 milliseconds, but this one will animate in the first 500 milliseconds. And lastly, the last one will basically just animate in the first second, right? So if I refresh, you can actually see they have their own, you can say smoothly, right? So this animate first and then this before this, right? So I think this is just a basic idea of how you can work with this. This is not a variant though. I will show you where we're using variant. We're using variant in the cards, right? So I'm just going to do there. Boom. This is actually possible with variant. You can see it. So yeah, so let's see how we are doing that in the feature cards. All right, so yeah, there we go. And now we're already importing our custom variants. As always, we are marking this with a use client declaration. And now we have our cards, which is okay. So in the parent container, we are using the card wrapper. In the child component, in the child container, we are using the child item. So now in the initial and the wine view, you can see we have the hidden and visible. This is what I was actually, talking about earlier, that the hidden and the visible, as you can see here, the hidden and the visible needs to be, available in both the parent container, which is the card wrapper in this case. Let's scroll down. Sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, so this is the card wrapper. So this is the container. And then the card item is the child, right? So we have the hidden and the visible fields. The hidden and the visible field are here as well, right? So yeah, so this is the way you can actually go about it. And the parent has this, and then we have the hidden. So this hidden will be the initial. It's just going to reuse all of this, all of this. What's it called? All of this object why it's in the hidden state, right? But the melee is visible or why in view is going to use all this setup in the visible property, right? I think this actually gives you an idea. So if you notice viewbody set to once false, meaning that it's going to animate every time that component is in view. Right. Yeah, I think this is just it, and it's not extremely like complicated. It's particularly just straightforward. You may want to go through all of this and see how it works, and this should be available within your animation.ts file. And yeah, so this is exactly how we are able to obviously just animate all of this. Just gonna scroll down so you can see exactly. Right. Yeah. So this gives us, an idea of how all of this come together. Yeah. So I think that is it. And with this, we can actually wrap things up. And yeah, catch you next one.